Hey guys, Justin here. Now, I will need to do some explanation before I start this video. Now, this video, basically, I made this 10 minutes, like I recorded this like 10-15 minutes before the Stalingrad announcement actually came out. I then started uploading it, only to, lo and behold, that the announcement was released, and it disproved my entire video here. So, yeah, if you haven't seen my reactions to the Stalingrad announcement, check it out. It'll be in the description. It was yesterday's video, so... Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed. I just wanted to post this just so that work did not actually go to waste. And I hope you guys will enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hey guys, Justin here. Now in this video, I'm actually going to be discussing Stalingrad and more or less kind of some things to expect, what we might expect, etc. Now this is again a speculation video, so, I'm going to be using Berlin and Moscow mostly, as and maybe even a little bit of Tunisia, but mostly Moscow and Berlin as bases for these. So, we'll start with the Allies, which is the Soviets. We'll start with the weapons, like, what kind of weapons. We'll start with, like, rifles, like, stuff like heavy weapons and stuff like that. Then we'll move on to vehicles for the Allies, because there's a few vehicles I think will be interesting, and I think probably will show up as well, so... Anyways, for the starting thing, we'll have a look at some of the rifles. Now, I personally... Some of these, some of the Berlin rifles, like the, like the Mosin or the SVT, and the AVS will definitely make appearances because they appear in, of course, Moscow. Moscow, of course, has shitloads of rifles. So, what I will probably see, they'll start with the Mosin 1930 rifle and the carbine, obviously. Then you'll probably see, like, the Dragoon, in a way, and then it'll be something like the AVT 38, round the midpoint, around where this is, around like 13, 15, stuff like that. Then around where the AVT is, there'll be the AVT 40, and then later the AVS. I reckon it'll be something like that. So that's how I think it would work for the weapons, for the rifles. Like, that's how I think those work. For the SMGs, I reckon it's going to be almost identical to Moscow. It's going to be these 5 again, I reckon. Maybe the PPS with the stick mag, I'm not sure when they were implemented. And maybe the PPS 42. But it's going to be pretty much identical here. PPD, PPS. Heavy weapons, I think, is also going to be near enough identical. Madden and then the DP-27. Anti-tank rifles, obviously, are going to be, pretty much going to be used a lot. So I'm unfortunately, heavy weapons are going to remain the same. The same goes with, the Axis as well. There's probably going to be the same. For vehicles, though, I think this is going to be interesting. Now, I'm going to use the Moscow. You might not see stuff like... You'll probably see T-60s. I reckon T-60s and T-50s will still make their appearance. However, one thing... A few tanks I think we won't be seeing are the T-26, the T-26, the T-28, and the BT-7. I don't think we'll be seeing these tanks in Stalingrad. The reason being was that they stopped using them, more or less, around Moscow. What we'll be seeing instead is stuff like the KV-1, the KV-2, the T-34-76. Now, you might be thinking, but what would the Axis have to counter those? And this is where I'll cover that when we talk about the Axis, but for now, those were some of the historical tanks that the Soviets had around the time. We might see stuff like, I reckon if there is a premium, stuff like the Valentine will be a premium again, but I reckon the KV-2 will be a premium. Obviously, of course, we already have the flamethrower tanks, we already got the the whatever it is, the vodka shooter 9000. I don't even know what the hell it's called, and the Flame Panzer II, which are going to be the main tanks for, you know, the which are the pre-order tanks, which are going to be flamethrowers. I'm not sure they're going to bring in the flamethrower tank as again, but yeah. I don't even know if they're going to bring in a you know, flamethrower tank, which is a regular squad. So that could be interesting. For the Axis, it's probably going to be the exact same as Berlin. So the way it's working is a Kar 98K again, maybe pre-war, Gavir 41, maybe the ZH29. What's going to be a little bit different is maybe you'll see the MKB instead of a sniper. Instead, you'll see it as an assault weapon. We might see the MP34 as well. We are seeing the MP40, MP38. Although one thing which is interesting is that people have suggested the MP41, which is basically the MP40 but with a different with a different rear stock. It was a wooden rear stock, kind of similar to the MP18s and the MP28s in terms of rear stock. So yeah, you're gonna see stuff like that. So I think that's something I cannot confirm nor deny that. So you need to take that to account with a grain of salt. The heavy weapons, I reckon it's going to be MG13, but there's probably also going to be the 42. Now the MG42 I believe was implemented around this time, so that's why I think the MG42 will probably show up to because the Soviets are going to have something like the obviously it's probably still going to have the Madden and the DP, whereas the Axis are going to have like the MG13, MG34, maybe the 42 later. And I reckon it's going to remain the same because I don't think the Panzer. I don't think the Panzer Schreck was invented at this point, so I could be wrong on that. So don't quote me on that. But I reckon this is probably what it's going to be. It's going to be like the Panzer Bushel 38, 39, and then the the heat grenade version. I reckon, or maybe even getting rid of the 39 or the 38 and having, you know, default as that. For the tanks, it's actually going to be a lot more interesting because it's going to be Panzer IIIs mostly. I reckon it's going to be stuff like the early war Panzer IIIs, like the Panzer III's, the J's. But there's also going to be stuff like the Panzer IV, especially the Panzer IV F1. Now and maybe 38Ts as well, like that would be like a starting tank. But there's going to be stuff like the Panzer IV's and like the Panzer IV F1s, which are going to be the mainstay tanks. However, there is one tank, and I think it's going to be stuff like the F2s as well. However, there is one tank which it's in another campaign, and I think because it's the it was around at the time, and given that Darkflow have been known to make stuff that were around at the time and add them to the campaign, even if they weren't implemented, Jumbo, M2 Carbine, M2 Flamethrower, for example, I reckon that there's going to be a Tiger in Stalingrad. Yeah, the big cat's coming to Stalingrad. Now, if you don't know, the Tiger was first used as kind of like it was used, I think it was like just before, like in Erich von Manfred's attack on Stalingrad. It was used in that offensive. However, it obviously didn't make much of a difference. But then again, because obviously Stalingrad was a loss for the Germans, so we might see the Tiger E. It's gonna be an early war Tiger, obviously. So yeah, it would probably be a slightly different to the version in Berlin, but yeah, you could. And if they were like I suggested earlier with the KV2 being a premium squad, I reckon if they make it a premium squad, they're going to probably put the Tiger as a premium squad as well, which I personally don't agree with if they do this. Obviously, this is all just, you know, me basically, you know, these are just kind of like, these could happen, coulds, not will happens, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I reckon there's just going to be a lot of early war tanks like the Panzer IIIJs and stuff like that, and the Panzer IV-E, the F1 and stuff like that. Anyways, I'm going to end the video here. You know, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave your thoughts in the comments on what you guys think could appear in, you know, in the game. Obviously, of course, with the flame tanks, obviously the Flame Panzer II. The only tanks that have been confirmed are the Flame Panzer II and the Soviet flamethrower tank, which I don't know the name of, so don't quote me on it. So, which look interesting, to be honest, but I don't know. Anyways, that's gonna be the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.